Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 151st edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, and PTA's number one fanboy, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Hello. How you going?
Hello, I'm good. How did you guys feel about episode 150? Did you both? I know Jaden was watching it. Did you both watch all of it?
Yeah, I watched all of it. Yeah, it went pretty well. I like to put the red background on.
I was playing around what to do with the green screen. I thought, well, I couldn't really put I thought about putting the logo. And I thought, didn't really work on the second angle, and then I just decided, well, I may as well just change the color, make it a bit more
Thematic.
our vibe.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, hopefully you liked it. Did you like the audio? Did it sound good?
Yeah, mostly. I think there was a few times where you could hear a bit of bleed, but that was alright.
Yeah. I edited every single microsecond of that audio, so it sounded okay. So I'm glad it did. But hey, the video episode got us to 350 subscribers this week.
Oh, really?
So is that like a milestone people celebrate? 350? I don't know.
Well, we should. I think our subs has been sitting there for a while, so that's good.
They really have. I looked at the stats, and it had that boom period in like mid 2021 where it went up like 200 subs in like 2 months, and then we've just flatlined. Maybe gain a sub here and there. So I don't know. This video episode's helped us out a little bit though. It has more likes than normal and stuff. So
do these people expect this every week now? I
hope not.
Okay.
But the benefits have also, presented themselves pretty clearly as well.
Yeah.
We know we can sort of go back to that bag when we need to. When we need a bit of a boost in performance, of course. So yeah, I'm glad people seem to like looking at our faces to our dismay. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single week, every single Monday, and of course this week back in lovely JPEG form on YouTube. So hopefully you enjoy that. This week, the movie we're reviewing is Jackie Brown, which opened in the US on December 25th, 1997. It was directed by Quentin Tarantino. It's a crime thriller, and the synopsis says, a flight attendant with a criminal past gets nabbed by the ATF for smuggling. Under pressure to become an informant against the drug dealer she works for, she must find a way to secure her future without getting killed. Excellent. All right, Fitzy, I know you've seen this movie before. How many times have you seen it, and what do you think on this particular rewatch of Jackie Brown, Tarantino's Jackie Brown?
Somehow my third time watching it. I don't know why I've rewatched it a second time, despite not loving it that much, but I still think it's good. I still think it's it's a grounded. I guess it's Tarantino's most grounded movie. It's a grounded take on the crime genre, I guess, and it has a lot of obvious style, and the performances are pretty great. Pam Grier and, Robert Foster or whatever his name is. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good movie.
Excellent. This was my first time watching it, and I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't really know at all what it was. For some reason, I had false expectations that have creeped in over the years. I don't really know why. I thought this was like a way shorter movie. I was not expecting the length of it for some reason. Don't know why. It's Tarantino, but I thought it was I thought it was like a different kind of Tarantino movie because I knew it was the only film of his that he didn't originally write. I thought at first he actually didn't write the script at all, but it was just the fact that it was based on a book. And I had no idea, so I knew there was something different about it. So I don't know. I didn't expect it to feel as Tarantino as it did end up feeling. So it ended up being much more in line with his films than I expected, actually. But yeah, I don't know. As I was watching, I wasn't quite sure what we were doing at times. But now, especially with the whole picture, I think I'll enjoy it on rewatches in the future more. And it was definitely in that last hour where the film really came together for me, and it really started to click. But Jane, you hadn't seen it either. What did you think of Jackie Brown?
Yeah, they're pretty on par with you. Yeah, I saw that Quentin Tarantino said that this film works better on each rewatch because you realize more about what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that does become pretty evident because it is always pretty engaging, but it just lacks that charm or flair kind of thing, of the usual Tarantino stuff. Obviously, there's no blood, There's, it doesn't have that same kind of snappiness, but it still does, work in its way. But I do think adapting a story kind of harms it because it feels like he's limited in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it does feel. I get what you mean. Like some of the bigger moments, they're cool, and I appreciate them within the film. But they feel like in another Tarantino movie, they'd be a bit more bombastic. They'd be a bit more loud. I guess. Particularly some of the deaths, but they're cool for what they are in this movie. In terms of what you were talking about, in terms of what Tarantino had said about the movie, I actually grabbed that exact trivia. Tarantino explained it's a hangout movie. Jackie Brown is better the second time you watch it, and I think it's even better the third and the fourth time. Maybe even the first time we see it, we go, why are we doing all this hanging out? Why can't we get to the plot? But now the second time you see it and the third time you see it, you're now thinking about the plot. You're not thinking about the plot anymore. You're waiting for the hangout scenes. And he's talking about the fact that the film is really about hanging out with the characters, and there's a lot of scenes, a lot of time spent just like with them in their natural habitat, having a chat, doing whatever they're doing, with different combinations of them. And those sort of long, play-like, I guess, scenes, dialogue-driven scenes, it's all very on point for Tarantino, I think. So that's where like the Tarantino stuff comes through. But I also understand what he's saying, and that I think that resonates with me because there were points for sure where I'm like, what is the plot of this movie? Especially early on, I was like, what is the plot of this movie, and why? How does this all connect? Especially when we're getting entertaining scenes in themselves, like that sort of reminded me in a way of some scenes in The Hateful Eight and stuff that are just really long. But it all ends up paying off in the end, and I think I'm just going to go back and enjoy the hangout scenes, as he calls them. More and more on rewatches. I don't know if that was something you found, Fitzy, if Tarantino's thesis was proven by your experience or not.
Yeah, I guess the second time I rewatched it, I understood that more. I mean, this time it wasn't like a mind-blowingly different experience, I guess, but no, I do understand that the film is like based around like just the dialogue, I guess, just between characters, and just watching that. So
yeah, for sure, and the dialogue's really good. Like as I was watching it again, I thought incorrectly that it wasn't his script at first because I knew there was something different about it. So I thought, I don't think he wrote this movie. But dude, by the time we get to the goddamn Chris Tucker and Samuel L. Jackson, like just debating about whether he's going to get in the truck or not for 5 minutes, in the trunk, sorry. Well, once we got there and some of the dialogue there, like it was already before that, but it was like clearly evident. Oh no, Tarantino had to have written this, or at least like rewrite it because this doesn't feel like someone else's writing. This feels like so Tarantino's voice coming through this dialogue, which was great. And then it ended up, of course, he did write and direct it. It was just based on a book, So I don't know the major differences between the book and the movie, but this definitely, has his dialogue, has his sort of type of way he likes the characters to speak and deliver in scenes sort of coming through for sure. This film actually has a ridiculously stacked cast. More so than I even thought. I didn't know half of these people were in this movie at all. I didn't know anything about this movie. Did you guys notice that the casting was by Jackie Brown?
Yeah.
A woman named that was hilarious. A woman named Jackie Brown spelt differently did the casting for this movie, which is like perfect. But in terms of the cast, the titular character, Jackie Brown, is played by, is it Pam?
Pam Grier.
Grier. It is an R. Grier. Okay. I had that written wrong. I didn't know who she was at all prior to this movie. I didn't know, well, clearly I didn't know who she was until this second because I didn't know how to say her name. Is she like, I guess she is like an actress from back in the day that Tarantino was a fan of, is sort of what I got the gist of. I don't know if you guys have ever seen her in anything, but I've never heard of her. I've never seen her in my life, I don't think.
Yeah, she's a really famous like exploitation actress. Like,
oh yeah, the trivia did say that.
Like,
okay,
yeah. So I've seen her in Coffee and Foxy Brown, I think. But like all that kind of stuff, the Big Bird Cage, I think she's in, and all that kind of shit, all the good stuff.
I saw Tarantino was a big fan of hers, and that's why he wanted to cast her, and he was a big fan of all that stuff. So I guess does that make sense to you, Jeff?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
Okay.
Like there is no Tarantino without like all those kind of films.
Right. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's a connection that makes a lot of sense. I saw that the character's name in the book was Jackie Burke, and he changed it to Jackie Brown, as a nod to Foxy Brown, the character you just mentioned. So that's interesting. Yeah. No, I thought she was good in the movie. To me, like, it was probably, I had a weird perspective on it where, like, to me, there's like an unknown actress playing this main character in a Tarantino movie. But yeah, no, I thought she was pretty good.
Because of her presence, I thought this was going to be more exciting than what the film was. I was expecting something more akin to her 70s flicks, and with a bit more happening.
So what kind of characters and what kind of movies are they, like, tone wise? Are they just like over the top action shit, or like what's the vibe that you're used to with her?
Like it's just like exploitation vibes. Like I don't know, like she plays like a femme fatale kind of character where she goes around.
Oh, okay,
like,
right,
kind
all
of
right,
doing shit and coffee,
and going to a struggling to survive on minimum wage flight attendant's a bit of a shift.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Not really. Like you can still there's definitely similarities, and like there is a quite strong connection between the characters. I just think it's a different way of representing what she is.
Okay, fair enough. I don't. Did you have any experience with her at all, Fitzy? Can I reword that?
No, the only blaxploitation film I've seen is Across 110th Street, which she wasn't in, so I don't have experience, but I guess from that movie I can kind of, project, to predict what Jane's saying, because those films are just like more bombastic. As Jane said, more action oriented, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Whereas at the end of the day, like, the stuff that this movie is very grounded in, like, as you guys said at the start, like crime, like just on the ground level, like it's all about a plot, just money exchange in a mall, So yeah, I get that change, and I think like everything with her was cool. Like I appreciated the fact that the story is just neat, having like this struggling lady who works a regular job, basically in this situation where she tries to play everyone and take all this money for herself when she sees the opportunity. I think that's a pretty cool story, and if you look at the story just through that lens, it ends up pretty straightforward, pretty happy ending for her, which is cool. But it took me, I don't know. Tell me if I'm dim, Jane. I want to know your perspective, having just seen it for the first time. But like, it took me way too long, I feel like, to realize that that's what the movie was about. Like, it took me about halfway through, I think, to understand. Oh, she's trying to manipulate all of them, But I did realize afterwards the Stan synopsis just spoiled that. I don't know if it was meant to be a spoiler or not, or if you even saw that. But am I stupid or not? I guess.
No, I thought her objective was pretty clear, and then she was trying to get the money. Like she wasn't trying to work with anyone.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought? Like that she was trying to like play one side and not the other, or did you just not?
Yeah, I couldn't. No, I just didn't really get it for a bit. I was just like, okay, like I understood that she wasn't 100% cooperative with everyone.
Yeah.
Like she was on the surface, but like I understood that wasn't exactly what was happening. But I was sort of just, it took me a little bit to connect that. But then when we clicked out of it and we saw the Stan synopsis just said it, I was like, that would have removed half of my what the hell's going on in this movie, like, right away if I just read it beforehand. My favorite scene with Jackie was probably the one, and I thought like she was the strongest here, Pam Grier was when she was like everything in the shopping mall on the real run that they were doing in the clothing store. That was all really exciting, but especially the one where she walks out of that store through the mall and she's like shaking and stuff and she's coming out. That was really cool when she calls out Ray at the end of it, the way the character sort of has to act there, but there's still sort of genuine nerves, I'm sure, as well. I thought it was all that was really exciting stuff. That was when like the film, throughout that entire like sort of real run sequence in the third act there, and then we sort of get the different non-linear time points of it as well. That was all definitely when the film came together totally for me. I really, really liked all that stuff. What about Mr. Sam Jackson? May I call him Sam Jackson? Is that allowed? I thought there was a period where he wanted to call himself Sam Jackson.
Used to be.
Is it? I swear to God, in like one of the Triple X movies, he came up in the credits as just Sam Jackson. I don't know.
Well, I
Anyway.
feel like he's often I've heard Sam Jackson before, but I don't knew that was like a real thing that he wanted. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe maybe those marketing people just put that on him. I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Sam Jackson, as we know him, you may know him as SLJ as well. He plays Ordell in this movie, who's the antagonist, and I really liked him. I find him like actually, I don't know. At first, I was sort of like, okay, this is sort of just like Pulp Fiction, but there was more to it. I think this time, in Pulp Fiction, was he just was he a hitman character? What was his profession in that movie?
Yeah, he
was a hitman. Okay, I sort of recall him feeling different. I haven't seen that movie in years, but like in this movie at least, like I found him actually like very believable. As he was intimidating to me in this movie, like as a killer gangster type character, not trustworthy at all, as we see multiple times throughout the movie. And I feel like his choice too. The trivia is it was Samuel L. Jackson's idea to give his character the long hair and the braided goatee. And I feel like, I don't know what kind of a choice that was, but it was a choice because it really stood out and it added to this guy's, like, I don't know, just like repulsiveness, I guess. Because he was slimy. I don't know. I didn't like this guy at all. Not that you meant to. But that particular hair choice was interesting. I don't know if you guys were as intimidated by him as I was, but I also just feel like it is a different vibe from the character in Pulp Fiction, right? Because I don't recall ever feeling like, what's his name in Pulp Fiction again?
Jules?
I can't remember.
Or was that
Jules? Yeah, that's right.
The other one.
I think that's right.
Yeah, Vincent is Trafalgar.
Yeah, I never recall feeling like actually like intimidated or like grossed out by Jules. You know, in the same way. I feel like they're different, but I could be misremembering.
Yeah, well, he's like a good character in that kind of. Well, like he has like his whole thing is he's righteous or whatever. He has that whole arc, but
Oh yeah.
No, definitely scary vibes from Jackson. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. How much does the what's it? Oh, the braided goatee. That's what it is. How much does that add to it, Fitzy? You know.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy. Yeah.
Like who gets a braided goatee? You know. Not someone I'd like to hang out with. Yes, exactly. Psychopaths. Exactly. Yeah, he's just a bad motherfucker, I guess. Makes sense. I think he would call himself that too if he didn't say it a few times in the movie. I don't know if you heard that, but he did break the record in this movie for the most times. I think it was just the most times Samuel L. Jackson's ever said "motherfucker" in a movie was broken. I don't think that's what the trivia said. I don't think it was all time like that word, but honestly, it has to be close as well. It was probably might have even been beaten by another like Hateful Eight at this point. I don't even know. He said it a lot, no doubt about it. Did you have any favorite lines of his though, at all, guys? Because mine probably had to be. Oh, there's a few actually. Mine probably had to be, "My ass may be dumb, but I ain't no dumb ass." And I was like, "That's poetic, man. That's poetic and shit, you know." Yeah.
I don't really remember anything from the film, like specific lines. I feel like
okay.
I feel like there probably was like something that I feel like I was definitely giggling at some shit, you know. But like,
oh yeah.
Not too sure.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I should have just. I'm definitely going to cut what you just said. I don't remember anything about the film. That's a 5-second pause. That's hilarious. Yeah. When he kills Beaumont in that really cool shot they do, I guess that's a 1 or 2. It just doesn't really. The camera just moves upwards. When he kills Beaumont in the trunk, that was a really cool scene because, first of all, like I already mentioned, you had that sort of funny scene with Chris Tucker beforehand leading up to it. That was entertaining stuff. And then it gets real dark real quick. And I thought that was a really good way right then and there. That set the stakes for all the other characters, for Jackie in particular, when, you know, this guy, Ordell's like hanging over her the whole movie. And that right there was sort of all you needed to cement, oh yeah, this guy sucks. So I thought that was a really effective way, just right off the bat, we understand his personality first, and then we see like he means business, you know. So that was good stuff. What about for me, the surprise of the century. Mr. Robert De Niro showed up in this movie.
I had no clue he was in this. When he was sitting, when they introduced him, he's sitting there on the couch. I was so shocked.
It was pretty shocking. I'm not gonna lie. Just because I feel like I never in my brain made the connection that like Robert De Niro's worked with Tarantino in any capacity. It just feels like a weird pair to me. You know, I never realized that. His character's really weird too. I liked it. I did like it, but it was odd. First of all, he says he's straight out of a jail for bank robbery, which made me think: is this like an alternate universe where like Neil survives heat? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then like Neil's just broken by prison or something because this character's very quiet. It was interesting to see him play. We talked a lot about Robert De Niro performances on the show, and especially I recall in the King of Comedy episode not long ago, and sort of looking at different aspects of different performances he's delivered. And this was another one for me where it's like I've never seen him play a subservient sort of underling character, like a quiet guy who sort of just goes along with shit, and he seems quite insecure. And I don't know, like is he stupid? Genuine question.
I said in the King of Comedy that like this is his other comedic performance, I guess. Because
you did say that.
It is like it is very funny how he's just kind of like in a stupor for the whole movie. Like I think that scene where he like wraps around the telephone and like the guy is trying to talk to him and he's just kind of like doing his own thing. That shit is so funny. But yeah, I don't know what he is, but it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Was he? I didn't know if just to take it as just he was just high in that moment, or if like.
He does get high for a lot of the film. Yeah.
But he also does just sort of act like that the whole time anyway. So, I don't know. I guess that's just who he is. Jaden, do you think? What's his character's name again? It's Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Jaden, do you think Lewis is stupid? I'll ask you that.
No, I think he's aging, as they make reference to.
Okay.
I just think his body can't keep up with it anymore.
Okay.
Because, you know...
He's like this old criminal. Like, he's sort of out of prison for another time. He's just like, what the hell am I doing?
Early onset dementia. Kind of spaced out.
Okay.
The drugs are hitting him harder.
I like that. I like that interpretation a lot. It's definitely a lot better than just he plays a dumb person, for sure. A lot deeper. I just
think because even Jackie and the bondbroker, whatever the fuck it is, because they talk about aging as well. So I think it just makes sense as to that kind of being the kind. Oh
yeah, a bit of a theme. Yeah. That's true. And yeah, they do talk about that. But of course, Lewis ends up dying. Spoilers. This was probably one of my two favorite scenes in the movie when he gets shot in the van by Ordell, and the dialogue before it, really, really memorable scene. I was definitely like the most invested in the character there. When he got blasted, I think I probably actually felt for Lewis the most in the movie, to be honest, like or up there at least, maybe in my top 3. Because when he got blasted, I was pretty upset by that, and that's when we definitely get the most blood in the movie for sure, all over the windscreen and stuff. So it was quite a violent moment for the film as well. So yeah, that was a really cool moment. But what stood out to me was the line, which I thought was really weird actually from Ordell. I want to know if you, especially if you have an interpretation on a rewatch or anything, but like, I was really surprised by his line when he shot him and he said, told Lewis, "All I asked is for you to be beautiful." And I was like, that's weird. That's a standout.
Did you get that from the Stan subtitles?
Yes, I guess.
Is that not what he said? No, his line is like, "Your ass used to be beautiful." Because as Jaden said, like the film kind of touches on that theme, like of like people being past their prime, right? So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's weird. That's what he said. I think the subtitles got it wrong because the last 2 times I saw the film, I was like, that's how I interpreted that line, but. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that makes more sense to me because otherwise I was like, yeah, what is this weird poetic shit that probably has deeper meaning? But okay, your ass used to be beautiful.
Because he said like, "What happened to you, man? Your ass used to be beautiful." You know.
Right.
I think
that makes a lot more sense.
With the also like where he says, "All I asked was you to talk to her" or something like that, instead of like shooting her? Or like because Ordell told him how to handle Mandy. Is that her name? And I think he says something like, I told you, all I told you was this. Or I think he might be blending those two lines.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure the Stan subtitle actually said, "If all I asked is for you to be beautiful."
The Stan subtitles does say that.
Okay. That's weird. Okay, I've never experienced that. That's interesting. Okay. That's a cool line though. Actually, now thanks for teaching me that. That's a cool line. But yeah, he got totally wrecked. Speaking of, her name's not Mandy, is it?
Is it? I don't remember. I thought Mandy sounded right.
It's
Melanie.
Yeah, you were close actually. Yeah, the other standout scene was her getting shot prior to this, for sure. Just really like my mouth. Wait, my hands went over my mouth when she got blasted in the parking lot. That was pretty surprising to me, for sure. I thought it definitely told us something about De Niro's character. Should have taken him at his word, you know. Some of these crime types, if they say to shut up, you should probably listen. You know what I mean? She learned the hard way.
Yeah.
It's a very nice way of putting it. Yeah. Definitely should have just taken him at his word there for that. It was like I didn't really care about Melanie as a character. Like I wasn't like connected to her really, but I just thought it was like a funny / shocking moment for sure. That was stand out. Especially when they're in the van afterwards and Ordell asks, is she dead? And they go back and forth and he's like, pretty much. Yeah, she's pretty much dead. So that was great as well. I enjoyed that. Who else we got here? We got Robert Forster, as Jaden mentioned earlier, is in this movie.
No, Liam mentioned.
Yeah, that's me.
Jesus. Okay, I'm just going to make an edit there. Ready, guys? Ready? Okay. Robert Forster's also in this movie, as Liam mentioned earlier. And he really grounds the movie, I think. I really liked him. He just comes across like the dependable everyman in the situation, you know, and he's here because he cares for Jackie, obviously. And that was really cool when she was testing him earlier in the movie, just sort of asked him, putting out there if he would be tempted to take all the money in a situation. I think, does she make up like a hypothetical scenario or something? I can't remember. But where she basically just asks him, you know, would you take all the money? Would you run if you had the chance? You know, that was realizing what that was about later on was really cool. And of course, he doesn't take the money because he's the real deal. We trust him. It pays off. So yeah, I really liked him as that sort of anchoring kind of character in the movie for Jackie. He was cool. I only really know him from the Breaking Bad universe. I don't know if he's like a well-known actor otherwise, but I don't know, was there any particular moment or aspect that stood out to you this time, Fitzy in particular?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, he's just a nice guy, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And he adds the romance angle to the film, I guess, him and Jackie.
Yeah, and I was into that stuff. I thought it was good. And it was especially paid off when, like, because I didn't realize, I was so confused when the real-time plan was unfolding before our eyes. You know, and she makes the switch of the money in the changing room, as she does, and then she leaves the money there. Like, I was so confused for like a good probably 2 minutes why she left the money there. I was like, what the hell are you doing? And then when I realized, oh, Robert's going to sweep in here. His name's Max, I'm sorry. When Max sweeps in and takes it and walks out, and he's totally does the job, totally trustworthy. That was a satisfying moment for sure. I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah. This guy, he's good. He's good for sure. So that was a cool moment for me as well. But in terms of their sort of romantic side of the movie, I guess between the two of them, I did want to ask about their final scene. It was like I found it oddly emotional, but I'm not quite sure I understand exactly like Max's perspective on the ending, I guess. He has to, like, they kiss and stuff and then they leave, but then he struggles sort of taking himself out in the moment. He says he has to excuse himself from the call he's on and take like a 30-minute break. And I didn't really understand what he was like going through in that moment. I don't know if you guys had an interpretation on that, because I guess I was just trying to figure out why he feels he can't go with Jackie in that moment, because that would have been quite cool as well. I would have thought, but I don't know why he feels he can't, you know?
I don't know. He seems like he never wants to, like, overstep in the film, or like maybe he just takes, I don't know. Yeah.
Like overstep.
Like he just like he takes things really slow, I guess, or he's like really I don't know, humble, I guess, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he's content. He's content with what he has in his job. Do you reckon? Like,
No, I think he wants to be with Jackie. I just think he's like doesn't want to rush anything. I think it's like very,
okay.
I don't know.
I think it's a moral thing as well. No, he's worked his
In what-
life as a stockbroker, and then he's being asked to lift $500,000. And not stockbroker, fucking bond broker edge thing. He's always been on the good side of the law, so I think it's really difficult for him to also just do that side of switch.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And
like,
I think his love for Jackie is really tormentuous for him.
okay, I see. So, like, he couldn't bring himself to sort of then go and live off the drug money, essentially, or the weapon money, I guess. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even think of that at all. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool.
But like he becomes a part of the plan so easily, though. Like he just accepts everything up to that point. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for
He
Jackie,
helps her.
I think. But then I just think he realizes that he can't take
He
the
can't do
final
it for
step at the
himself.
end. Yeah.
Right, interesting. So I guess in that perspective, like, he could never have taken the money. Like we know he doesn't want to, but like deep down, like,
Well,
he just can't. He would never have done it anyway. Like,
In that first conversation where she's asking him, he doesn't actually answer, right? It just cuts away and makes it seem like he answers yes or something, right?
Yeah.
So
that's right.
what if in that conversation he says no and then he still just helps her out?
I guess he didn't.
Well,
say
he gets
that.
his own money in the
But
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. The scene was good anyway. Like, I felt it. It was cool. I was just sort of trying to get in his head a little bit more. But that makes sense also. Yeah, I like both of those ideas. Yeah, even like if he doesn't want to, it would be a huge. He seems like a pretty sort of regular working man kind of guy, and he's helped Jackie do this, and he's happy with that decision. But he also doesn't want to just like jump on a plane and leave forever, like in this millisecond right now. He just needs a breather,
Yeah.
And maybe there is,
sure,
and maybe, yeah, I like that idea that you mentioned, Fitzy, because like maybe then, like, you can visualize possibly like then in a year or something, he like slowly packs up his business, and then he like might actually end up moving with her over there at some point in the future. But and that I think that still could very well be the case, arguably.
Yeah, he wants to get things in order. He
Right.
doesn't want to rush things. It's just how he is. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you guys had a read on the music and the soundtrack choices in the film at all. I thought it might be something that stood out because I noted the songs were pretty banging. I just thought they were cool, but I don't know anything about them other than that. I really liked the sort of final song that Jackie sings in the car. Just pretty straightforward, sort of just audio-visual satisfaction for her getting the job done and being free, and that was cool. But I don't know if you guys had any like particular standouts or recognition for any of the soundtrack choices, but because I feel like they were part of the film's identity overall, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think I knew any of the songs before watching this. I mean,
Okay.
the Across 110th Street song that you mentioned is a good. I mean, I like it more in the opening, to be honest. Like, just the opening tracking shot of her like running to the plane is pretty cool.
That was a cool shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that shot, actually, I really like how like it sticks with her on the side profile, and then like it feels like the credits are going, and then like as the credits finish, the camera then as she moves around the camera and you go behind her, it feels like, at least to me, the effect it had on me was like now I'm entering the movie sort of thing. It felt like I was then immersing myself. The camera like immersed me then into the story, like by literally putting me in it.
I actually just watched like a clip this morning, like of Tarantino talking about blaxploitation films and their use of music, and like he said that like he really like loved the music from those films, but they never like utilized them properly, where like you could just like soak in the music itself. It was like very brief, or very like like the cinematography didn't help with the music. I guess the camera work didn't help. So that's what he wanted to do, I guess. Yeah.
Oh well, that's really interesting. He nailed that. There's long segments in this movie where the music really, you really feel it in some montages, and the opening and closing for sure. He nailed that part. I'll tell you what, though, this movie did not do much for any possible argument against Tarantino's foot fetish.
Oh, it was disgusting, man. It was actually like the worst. It's like usually, you know, it's just a quick shot, but this time there was like fucking proper focus. It was disgusting, like genuinely, and like they weren't even nice feet. Like, like feet aren't nice, but like even like in regards to feet, they weren't fucking nice. It was just disgusting, man. I fucking hated it. I couldn't stand. I wanted to turn the movie off when that fucking came up. I was like, oh my fucking god, man.
Oh, you wanted to turn it off in the first 5 minutes, then, didn't you?
Yeah.
It didn't take long for Bridget Fonda's feet to get all up in the frame. Oh man. You didn't think she had nice feet?
I'm not answering that question.
Well played. Oh god, yeah. I thought that was that was a standout for sure. That was no doubt getting a note taken down the second that came up.
It's just done so untastefully. Like, just there is no there is no merit or integrity to it. Like, at least even in like something like Death Proof, like, you know, fucking there's feet hanging all over the place, but like it's done done in a way where like I'm like, oh yeah, I can believe this is part of just like, you know, shots of the film, or you know, there's a certain degree of, you know, interest here, whatever. But in this, it's just hard cut to it and just fucking focus on it for no reason.
Did you like it in Hollywood? How would you rate the use of feet there?
Margot in the theater, right? Is that the only one?
Yeah,
I think that was fine.
Oh no, does Margaret Qualley have feet in there at some point? I think she might.
Yeah, Margot in the theater was fine. If that's the only one I can remember.
Okay. Shout out to the really random thing I wrote down, but just to have to shout out the really cool reveal of Jackie having taken Max's gun when they do the split screen thing. It's like, what is this? Is this like GTA or something? Like when you switch characters, or something really cool. It was really cool. Very obviously reminded me of a video game, but I thought it was a really cool storytelling thing. I don't think I've if ever seen a film do that before. It was cool. I feel like who else? Well, we haven't mentioned Michael Keaton. He's in this. Movie.
He was a shock as well.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
again,
no
not
idea.
A Tarantino sort of actor. You think?
No, yeah, exactly.
His character's name was Ray. Was his name? Reference to the Lost episode. Was his name Ray in The Founder as well? I think it was.
Yeah. I
should know the 3 times I've seen The Founder. But anyway, yeah, he was pretty good. I don't know. He was kind of like I don't know, hardcore detective man, but also had a bit of he had a sort of a goofiness to him as well, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't really put a finger on it, but I would say he had a bit of a goofiness to him. He wasn't like 100% serious. I'm not describing that well. I don't know. He had sort of a quirky nature to him a little bit. Something there. Maybe that adds to just the tone of the film.
The first 2 times, I thought he actually put my interpretation of his character was like way darker, because I thought he put the drugs in the bag to like, you know, get, you know,
in the first instance.
Yeah, to be able to like be able to manipulate Jackie Brown. But I'm pretty sure they confirm in the movie that like Ordell is the one that like asked that to be put in the bag for Melanie. So
yeah, okay, yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. God, that would have been dark for Michael Keaton. Damn, that really would change your read on him. Actually,
yeah. That's how I read it as well at first. Until she later mentions that it must have been planted by Ordell to get her in trouble or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. That's what they said. I've got some more trivia. What do we got here? This is good. Quentin Tarantino wanted to gauge the audience's reaction to key moments in the film, so he spent the first several weeks following the film's release watching it in theaters. He said, I saw that movie like 13 times at the Magic Johnson Theatre. The whole first 4 weeks it was there, I basically just lived there. I just thought that was an interesting thing for a director to do, you know, sneak into. Would you guys sneak into your own film a few times? I feel like I definitely would.
Yeah, you really have to, you know.
Yeah. I assume he couldn't really get away with that these days. And he'd have to do like a full disguise. Like he'd have to really plan it out to not be seen. Full disguise, maybe come in the bag. Like he'd have to really think about it. He couldn't just like show up.
Maybe.
I think so. And of course, you know, certain directors could do it for. Probably most directors on Earth could do it for their movie and not have an issue. Some wouldn't be able to get away with it, but yeah, this is weird. In the first mall scene, Max Cherry, who's Robert Forster's character, is seen exiting a movie theater while the music for the end credits is playing. The music playing is, in fact, for the closing music for this film itself.
Wow.
I reckon. That's crazy, man. Getting real meta there. But why not? If you're doing the sound mixing on that scene and you need credits, and that's exactly what happened, actually. They needed credits, and where did they get them from? They just, copied them from the end of the timeline that they already had. So, yeah. Actually, that's definitely not true. They definitely didn't edit this digitally. I was just projecting what I would have done onto them. Just been lazy and put the end credits of my own movie right there. That's probably not what they did. I think I'm pretty good.
I don't know. It just feels like this is a long movie. I feel like did we touch on everything?
Well, probably not. But no, I feel like we did okay.
Good enough job.
I think so. Yeah, it's an enjoyable movie for sure. It's a fun movie. There's like I said, there's a lot of long dialogue scenes that are entertaining, and I'll now that I'm not stupid on the plot, it'll be more entertaining to revisit them again in the future for sure. And especially, when you watch, at least for me, when I watch stuff for the first time, there's always, like Tarantino said, there's always a little element of not impatience, but a little bit, I guess, where you don't know what the plot of this movie is because you've never seen it, so you want to find out, that you want to learn more, but rewatches sort of immediately solve that because you're not watching it for that reason anymore, All right, let's get to our final verdicts for Jackie Brown. Liam.
7 out of 10. It's just staying at a 7.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll give it a 7. Really good movie. Really enjoyed it. What about you, Jaden?
Yeah, big old 7 as well. I think it's better than
Nice.
Pulp, but still close to,
We got no news chat because there's nothing. Let's get to our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I finally finished Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I had 4 episodes left and I just banged it all out. This is a super quick series. You could do it in a day or two if you wanted to. I stand by you should never watch it, Zach, because you just would not like it at all. It's way too many animeisms. And there's boobs, there's bloods, there's characters doing mecha shit. It's just it is like a balls to the wall anime in the way that Arcane wasn't, where it just would be hard for you to grasp if you don't like anime.
Thank you for being honest, Jane, and thank you for knowing me better than most people, because 3 different individuals who I will not name have recommended the show to me. I think just because they like it. But yes, you actually understand me. But yes.
Well, I just think there's a lot of comments on it about great for anime lovers and newbies alike, and I just think that's so wrong because this is not an accessible anime for new people.
Cool.
But it's I'm surprised by how much I ended up enjoying it because the first few episodes were kind of just not that good at all. But I think it really comes into it. And I think the ending is really, really fantastic. It made me emotional. I think the cast of characters does need time, and obviously, as it goes, you do strengthen your relationship with each of them. Because on first introduction, some of them just they do just seem very general archetypes, and just kind of, it seems like you kind of know what they are, but then as it does have the chance to explore them, it does become good. The city of the actual setting is great. Going between Night City and then you get these glimpses of the moon and the outside areas of that place. Really fantastic. And the music is also phenomenal. They have that one repeated song that if you had TikTok, you'll definitely know which one it is, because I can't remember what it's called. But even they use a Franz Ferdinand song for the opening titles, which is great. And the whole soundtrack, the same way they did it for the game, of just having these artists come in and just do it for whatever. It is similar here. It's great as well. But yeah, no, so it ends up being a pretty decent watch. But yeah, it's just cannot recommend it for newcomers to anime.
Got it. Noted loud and clear there. So you go to the moon. That sounds cool. That sounds like what I always sort of imagine Blade Runner maybe doing one day. Because they always mention those colonies. Is it that sort of a situation?
Not quite. I would say watch it and find out, but you can't watch it.
Yeah. I can't watch it. Do not watch it. Okay.
The moon's used as a device to represent escape.
Wait, so you don't... Wait, but is it a setting?
Yeah, in brief scenes.
Okay. All right. Cool. I watched Navalny this week, documentary. It's the it won this year the Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature, which is why I wanted to watch it. But do you guys know anything about this man? This
Is
man,
the
Alexei
dude that was
Navalny?
like assassinated?
Like attempted to.
Assassinated by Putin and the Kremlin. Okay, so you know a little bit about it. I knew nothing about this whatsoever. Literally just wanted to watch it because it won the Best Picture, and I knew the name of it. I don't know. I thought it was about the Navy or something. Like, I literally had not the slightest clue. So I hit play on this, and I highly recommend this. Everyone should watch this. I think it's surprising. Like, for me, as ignorant as I was to it all, it was very educational. It's essentially about, without going into spoiling real world events, but it's about the Russian opposition leader who sort of is gaining momentum politically, and Putin attempts to basically assassinate him, and it sort of goes from there, and the crazy shit that follows, and then what ends up happening with him. It's all, if you follow this stuff in the news, you probably know all this shit, but I had no clue. So highly recommend everyone watch this just to be informed of it, honestly. Like, 'cause I'm really glad I know about this. I find it now, knowing about it, it's pretty, I can't really say without spoilers, but like it's it kind of, I found it a bit distressing, to be honest, in like a real world way, not in like a cinematic, like the creative tension way. Just like I found it pretty hard to sort of digest in a certain way. But yeah, it's some crazy shit, man. Definitely do yourself a favor and learn about the shit that's going on over there, and the shit that's happening with the politics and the stuff, because like I was well aware that, Russia's political thing was rigged, and I knew it was all bad, right? But like I didn't quite understand how bad it was, I don't think. And I was really glad to sort of, just for myself, to get that perspective. And if you think you don't know anything about it, I highly recommend it. It's a 90-minute watch. It's on SBS as well, so very accessible to everyone. Yeah, for sure. And by the way, it's some of the scenes, though, are like unbelievable that these things are real, in my opinion. Okay.
No, look at you buying into this Western media fake news.
Shut the fuck up.
And just a cog in the propaganda machine, man.
I saw, dude, there's one particular thing in this movie that's like a big spoiler. That's like, it's bizarre that like they achieved it, and it's even real, and it's on camera for everyone to watch. It's crazy. Okay, Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I watched Freeway, which is a movie with Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland, and she's like she's described as a teenage delinquent. It's a retelling of Red Riding Hood, where her family get arrested and she goes on the highway and meets like a killer guy. But the whole movie is about her like kind of being very aggressive and trying to overcome everyone in society in a way. So it's got like the movie's got like a moral purpose kind of, but it's also a very just batshit movie in just like what happens and how fast it moves and stuff. I mean, she like, she deals with this guy, she goes to prison, she gets out of prison, and the whole movie is her trying to find her grandmother, which is like, the Red Riding Hood myth, I guess.
So it's like a modern retelling? Is it like set like...
Yeah, sure. It's a modern retelling, yeah.
Okay,
but like
gotcha.
the most of the movie isn't like hinting at that it's a modern retelling of Red Riding Hood. That just kind of comes into play at the end. Reach Witherspoon is just like really amazing in the film. I think it's like the best thing I've seen from her. She's just incredibly funny and like really energetic and just, I don't know. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Interesting, but not related to the Hoodwinked franchise, just to be clear.
No, not technically, no.
Okay. All right.
In spirit.
Right. Yes.
Sure. Okay, live action remake of Hoodwinked. Nice. They should do that, by the way. I don't know. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite Quentin Tarantino motion picture? Plenty of choices, plenty of debate. This is always a fun question to ask someone who you think likes movies, and then you'll immediately understand if they do it or don't, or if they're lying. Aidan said, as a media student, the media student in me says Django Unchained. Inglourious Bastards is a close second, with Pulp Fiction a narrow third. See, that's the thing with these movies. It's always, I feel like you can't, and I totally get it. That's what everyone's done here, but I totally get it. Like, you can't answer this question without like pointing out your close seconds, you know, like, because it's usually pretty close. Andy says the media student in me would have said Django too, but I kind of outgrew it as my favourite. Inglourious Bastards is now my favourite, with Pulp Fiction being a narrow third. And Andy plugs his Letterboxd ranking. Go to Andy's Letterboxd, I guess. Luke said, although Pulp Fiction is more quotable, I think Django Unchained is better. Okay, all right. So we got a huge, amongst the Cinema Effect fan base here, we got a huge bias for recent Tarantino. You know?
Kevin Fitzpatrick 20 in the Whiplash comments said Pulp Fiction, best Tarantino movie.
Nice. Okay, so maybe not. Kevin throwing in a nice little spanner in the works there. Thank you. Wait, in the comments, not on the YouTube comments, right?
Instagram comment to the Whiplash post.
Got it. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I didn't miss a YouTube comment. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for writing in. We needed that last minute little addition there to spice up get the Pulp Fiction representation in there definitively, I guess. Always a tough question, but Fitzy, what do you think right now? Does this, and also I will ask, does this answer change for you over time, or have you always been pretty steadfast on it?
Well, like, I've always loved Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. Like, Reservoir Dogs in particular, I just think is like an amazing movie. But like, Inglourious Basterds is the one that was kind of average for me, but on a rewatch, I really like connected it with it for some reason, and like in a moral way, which Tarantino's films aren't like explicitly. They are, I guess, but like not like moral in an emotional way, I guess. Like because Inglourious Basterds is like a revenge tale with some actual like historical like, you know, emotion attached to it, I guess. But it's also just like one of the most fun Tarantino films in terms of just, you know, blood and guts and smashing heads and that kind of thing, and blowing up cinemas and, you know, all that fun stuff. So Inglourious Basterds is. Oh, but I also watched Death Proof, which was fucking awesome too. So those are like my top 4.
You gave Death Proof a 10, didn't you?
9, I think.
9. Oh, okay. I was trying to say that.
Wow. So once you saw that, you've seen all these movies now. I take it.
No, I haven't seen Django Unchained still.
Still
the biggest film that I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I'm now, after this, I'm just missing Death Proof. Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, Inglourious Basterds is no doubt. It's crazy. I always think about for me, the standout scene is the Michael Fassbender in the underground bar scene. That is my favorite scene in the movie, 100%. Yeah. Oh, that's so clever. I love that. I still love that as a thing to put in your script. Is what gave it away. But anyway, Jaden, what about you?
Mine's Bastards as well. And it always since I've watched Bastards, it has been. I think I watched Django first, and Django did take that place. But then, you know, once I watched Inglourious Basterds, it was just that all the way. Yeah. Not gonna lie, media did kill Django for me as well. Like, unlike those other boys.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that,
because I think it's still probably my second favorite, but like it has definitely soured to the point where I'm like, I don't want to rewatch it anytime. Yeah.
Django. I don't know. For me, Django's like mid Tarantino for me. Like, I like it. Like, but it's I don't know. Like, Tarantino isn't like my favorite filmmaker in the first place. So like all of his movies, I enjoy them all. They're incredibly well made, and I know I'm going to get a entertaining, engaging time, and that's sort of what all they are to me. You know, they don't really mean a lot to me, sort of just personally. And so Django's sort of the epitome of that for me, where it's just like, it's a really enjoyable movie, engaging watch for sure. I've seen it twice, but like, I don't know, it doesn't get me to that next level. Yeah, for me, I have to go. I mean, Fitzy mentioned it already, but I go a bit less conventional, I guess, because it's for me on any given day sort of a toss up mainly between The Hateful Eight and Reservoir Dogs. Those are sort of my two, and I think the reason those two are specifically a toss up is because they're sort of two very different Tarantino movies. I mean, they're both definitely Tarantino feeling movies, but one's like 3 hours long, one's I think isn't like an hour and 40 minutes, isn't Reservoir Dogs? It's very short. So the lengths are crazy different. The tones and the pacing are crazy different. But they both also, still have that recognizably sort of like feel like this could be a stage play production sort of elements in the scenes and the way the chapters are broken up and stuff like that as well. But I think, but of course the settings are wildly different. The characters are wildly different. So similarities and differences, but mainly the differences are sort of what make me toss them up, I guess. Whereas I feel like the more modern stuff, like with that sort of Western, Django and Hateful Eight, that sort of parallel there in the setting is sort of a reason you might prefer those sort of ones, But I definitely of modern Tarantino, Hateful Eight's definitely my favorite for sure, which I feel like is the least popular option. But I don't know, I just loved it the first time I watched it. Really enjoyed doing it for the show again. I just think it's a really tense movie. It's a really captivating movie to watch slowly unfold, I think, even still. And Reservoir Dogs is a plus. I couldn't recommend it enough. I feel like I've actually only seen it fully once. I've seen it 1.5 times, sort of. But I feel like any day I could pop on Reservoir Dogs. Maybe more rewatches would disprove this, but I feel like I could pop on Reservoir Dogs anytime. It's Tarantino like in bite-sized, like super, super accessible, like easy to digest form. But I mean that in the best way possible,
I used to be like addicted to Reservoir Dogs. I rewatched that shit over and over, especially on the first week.
It was my crack.
Yeah, I think I told you about it when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is my literally.
It's so good, man. It's so good, and it's so awesome that's his first movie because I think it's hard to disagree with the fact that still in every movie that he's released since, and I'm sure in his last movie, if it is his last movie, all his films since then, you can see Reservoir Dogs in it in some way. The fact he has that through line identity in the movies he makes is like really exciting. It's not like,
the fact that his vision was like that perfectly crafted, like on his first film as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, Tarantino's a great filmmaker, but remember his first couple of films were kind of like, oh yeah, they were kind of whatever, like student or whatever, like from the get go, he just had it. You could see it on the screen, it's crazy. So yeah, always great. Which ones didn't we shout out actually? Which ones?
Oh, Kill Bill's got no mention whatsoever.
No love.
That just, I felt like saying Kill Bill just because I knew no one else would say it, but like, it's not true.
The Forgotten Child.
Yeah.
But Once Upon a Time as well is the other one.
Once Upon a Time, yeah. Quentin said that he thinks that Once Upon a Time is his favourite and best movie, so I guess that's his answer if he wrote it. But it was
Have
great.
you seen From Dusk Till Dawn, Fitz?
No, I haven't seen that.
Because he wrote that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And what else did he write? He wrote another one, didn't he?
He wrote True Lies? Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's whack, by the way. That's so weird.
Oh god. It's a Scott, Tony Scott, maybe. Did he direct that? Ridley Scott's brother?
No, didn't James Cameron direct it? Or am I getting that mixed up?
No, it wasn't James Cameron.
What's the... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right. I think it is Tony Scott.
James Cameron did True Lies.
Well, then is it not True Lies?
Oh, True Lies. No, you mean... Oh, no, sorry. I was talking about the Christian Slater movie.
Yeah, I think we're thinking of the wrong thing. Because I don't think...
True Romance.
True Romance. Yeah. I knew it was similar. Okay.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I was going to say, I don't think... Like, when I made that connection, I was like, hang on, but James Cameron didn't direct Tarantino.
No, yeah. True Lies, sorry. Not True Lies. True Lies is the Schwarzenegger film,
Yeah.
Cameron directed, for sure, yeah.
Got it. Okay, excellent.
But in answering a question of favorite Tarantino, would films that he's only written count or not?
No, I don't think so. I feel like he's very vocal about what the 10 films mean to him and what they are, and I feel like we all understand that as well. I guess I don't know if someone had one of those as an answer, I wouldn't ban them from Discord if that means anything. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comment section. Leave us a comment on Instagram or Spotify, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is... Guys, what are we asking? We didn't do it.
Oh, sure.
I thought you would have done it.
Yeah, I don't blame you for thinking that, Jan, but we really didn't. So last week for Indie, I was thinking about the fact everyone made fun of me for thinking the whip was lame. Is there something to ask around like iconic weapons or like like
Oh.
or like I don't know, like tools or
I mean, if
that's
you,
sort of the
if you
train of
ask
thought I had.
iconic weapons, is the answer not just going to be a lightsaber every time?
That's what I thought too. So I thought that maybe there's a better way to word it.
Yeah. Iconic non-sci-fi weapon.
But like, is there a way to like bring out other hot takes like iconic weapons that?
That aren't a lightsaber. What about that?
No, but
You just said
that are like that you think are lame or something, or like
Unconventional iconic weapons, or something like that. No,
what counts as unconventional?
a whip.
I wouldn't call a lightsaber conventional. You know.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess
I get what you mean though. I get what you mean. I feel like it's like another better word though.
niche iconic weapons.
Then they're not iconic.
Huh?
If they're niche, they're not iconic, are they?
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, true. Yeah.
like best makeshift weapons.
Is a whip a makeshift weapon?
Well, you don't usually use it on humans, but I guess he's
Well,
using it for the
I
same
mean-
purpose.
I get what you mean.
There's a good population of
Yeah.
Americans in the 1800s that would disagree with that.
Cue crickets. Why don't we say most? Is there most like overrated weapon or like most overrated? I don't. You know.
Then you just say that's just gun or whatever, like
Gun in general.
gun. Yeah,
Gun.
the M9 34 caliber.
We could just do most iconic weapon and I just say don't choose lightsaber.
So most iconic weapon that's not a lightsaber, like I said.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you did. Should we just do that?
What's a weapon that's cool? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Great. I don't know if I'll just leave that in or not. I haven't decided yet. But what the question is? What is the most? Wait, what is it again?
What
The
is
most-
the most iconic weapon? But don't
Should
choose
it be
the
your
lightsaber.
favorite iconic, or should
Yes.
it be
Oh yeah, favorite. Yeah.
yeah
Oh yeah. What is your favorite iconic weapon?
or tool?
Caveat: please don't choose lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah. Let us know. Let us know in all those places. Okay, that's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
We're continuing our Indiana Jones saga. Hopefully we won't disappoint everyone this time. With
I'm really
Indiana
nervous about it.
Jones and the Temple of Doom. Luke's favorite movie of all time. Probably, one of his favorite movies.
Fitzy, I'm worried about this review. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried about it.
We should do this one in person as well, so that they can talk shit about our appearances instead of talking shit about our opinions. That's
right. That'll bring back the guy who was talking shit for sure. All those years ago. Yeah, man. I feel like the comments. I don't know. We're as always just going to be totally honest. Have an honest conversation. We'll see where it lands with the audience. You know what I mean? All right. That's it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate Jan and Liam being here for another episode, as always. And we'll see you all next time. Have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.